the world feels, and this is in comparison to 3D World, kind of oddly cold and lifeless compared to like the massive variety that is in 3D World. And I don't know what it is. The individual sections are great. Most of the individual built platforms that you kind of get to traverse they're unique. They're fun. But the way that they're sporadically just placed around the map, other than there's the giant waterfall area where you can jump up, and I like that disconnect between the two spots. Okay. The rest of it just feels like a lot of empty water with just random things spewed in. And I feel like if you're going to go open world, this is where the demo in me comes out of it, is you can tell they're going to need more things
space?
To keep. Yeah, not even necessarily space.
Oh, do you think it's because it's a smaller scale, so the oddities of the different terrains mesh too greatly for you?
I think it's one of those examples where it's like when you're looking off from the distance, it's like, okay, well, you can see there's that. And it doesn't feel like you're in a lived world. It feels like you're in a theme park or
obstacle course type thing. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
And
I don't disagree with that at all.
And so, and again, and obviously it affects me more than it affects you. That's fine. From that gameplay standpoint, I get nervous long term, and I'm sure this is why I ended my opening statement with this. They're going to nail this, because when I saw the Metacritic, clearly, as per usual, I'm one of the oddities. Most people freaking love this game. I think it's got an 89.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like...
Now, of course, that is also in combination with 3D World and people loving that. So
yeah. Okay,
how does it favor between Bowser's Fury? There's not really standalone. You'd have to read into the details.
Yeah. I guess for me, long term, I just need to be really convinced to go away from like the hub mentality of Mario games where...
Oh, that's hard.
Because there's something about when you enter a world, it's like, okay, that's the unique world. There you go. And then when you go out of it, you're back in your hub world. That's the transition you need. Removing that transition and then needing an actual world to kind of evolve from one spot to the other. This one, it feels weird. It feels like there's a lot they can do with it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I got this.
It is going to be really hard if you think about it. Sorry to cut you off, but
that's okay.
So I think of Super Mario Odyssey, where you're flying from one area to the next. Those areas feel very distinct and lived in. Yeah. They have NPCs. This game doesn't really have NPCs for the most part. There's a couple of them, but nothing that's crazy like Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah, how do you make that Mushroom Kingdom feel cohesive enough? Like Zelda did a very good job of breaking the areas up, and it felt like it still lived in one world in Hyrule.
But also then, so that would be the thing, is Zelda is a gigantic, and we're talking Breath of the Wild there.
Yes.
It's a gigantic game. I have a hard time seeing Mario in that large of a world.
That's true. I mean, the platforming is amazing in Mario, but getting from one end to the other.
Well, no. I mean, yeah, that in theory that should be the benefit. Is like
it should be, yes.
But man, I don't, because if you think about it, if you go from like a forest to a lava level to a water level, making that transition between levels, you don't have to worry about that when you're doing the hub worlds. When you're doing an open world, you have to come up with a creative way to.
Yeah, I don't really know how they're going to do it. Yeah, unless you go through like a warp pipe, like Mario usually does. I'm thinking of like Super Mario RPG now with like the different islands. Like that felt cohesive. Could you make an open world 3D Mario game that would benefit from something like that? I don't really know. Yeah. But yeah, I can see why, at first when you talked about like modders plotting in islands, I can see that now. Okay. I think it's still a little whatever.
Which is